You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here's your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
I am Coach Jen from Ocala, Florida.
And I'm Karen Chatton from Gardnerville, Nevada, and you are listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for April 8th, episode 3664. Good morning, Horse World.
When your start time's on Saturday and your finish time's on Sunday, and it doesn't get much better than best conditioned, and completing the challenge is the challenge, you're an endurance rider. Welcome back, Karen.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be back.
Second Tuesday of every month, stop by, hang out with us as we chat about all things endurance. If you're not an endurance rider, stop by anyway. We always have lots of fun and interesting things on the show that apply to everybody, not just endurance riders. And at the beginning of every show, we chit-chat about Karen's adventures because endurance riders have the most amazing adventures. But I want to let you know, coming up on today's show, we're going to be chatting with some folks from the Arabian Horse Association about their programs. And Canadian Tracy Vollman brings us the scoop on all things Canadian and endurance, including the very first FEI ride being held there. That happens later this year. And also, we're going to chat with our regular contributor, Kristen from the Distance Depot, and she's going to talk about electrolytes. So, what have you been up to since last we chatted?
I have been riding Jovi, which is exciting. Let's see. Saturday, I just did the Nevada Derby 50. We had great weather, 132 riders in all the distances. We finished around 25th out of 62. All the rides I have been to have been dual sanctioned FEI rides this year because we have a lot of riders trying to qualify, both the young riders and the seniors, for the upcoming World Championships that are coming up, which is, kind of exciting to get to see that we're going to have more riders, both young and, the young riders and juniors, as well as the senior division competing internationally.
So when and where are the World Championships?
Let's scroll to that part where I have that written down. The FEI World Championship for Young Riders and Juniors 2025 is in Buftia, Romania, September 20th. And they're going to do a 120-kilometer ride. The World Championship for Seniors is in Castiglione del Lago, Italy. I'm sure I butchered that one. September 6th, 2025, and that one's 160 kilometers.
So they have them two separate times and locations. Interesting.
They do, yeah. So a lot of rides across the country and in Canada have been adding the FEI Championship. And actually, one of our guests this morning from Canada will be coming on and telling us about some of their new rides with the FEI edition added. And next up, we have Kristen from the Distance Depot. Today, we're going to be talking about electrolytes. Good morning, Kristen. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. Yes,
well,
electrolytes.
This is a big topic, because there's so many variables and every horse is different and situations change. So what can you tell us about the products that you carry to help support endurance horses on long distance rides, or trail riders, or anybody doing work or traveling with horses that can benefit from electrolytes?
We have quite a variety. And when I started to make my show notes, I thought, oh boy, we could talk about this for days. But to try to keep it simple, we have, some tried and true electrolytes and some other products that support muscle function, gut health, and so on. We have a whole page dedicated to it under For the Horse. And so it is called Electrolytes, Probiotics, and Supplements. And there you will find all of our offerings. We have popular powders and syringe tubes, such as Enduramax, we have in a powder, and that's a great electrolyte, been around forever, made by the Kentucky Performance Products Group. And then they make some vitamin E supplements and some MyoGuard muscle supplements as well. We also have the Enduramax Plus paste, which has a buffer. So that's in a convenient tube that you can carry with you on trail and give it out there if you need it and or use it at the vet checks. Another popular brand is by a company called Peak Performance Nutrients, and they have a lot of supplements. We offer some of them, also muscle helpers with antioxidants and all the things that support muscle health and growth. They also have, and their electrolytes, I like their electrolytes for horses that are IR or that you're worried about getting too much sugar. They're all sugar-free, their electrolytes. So they have a powder. They also have 2 pastes. They have a single dose paste and then a 3-dose tube. So you get a little more bang for your buck in that bigger tube, yet it's a little harder to carry on trail. So just depends on how much room you have to carry all your stuff. Another paste that's pretty popular is a Light Now paste, fast absorbing. I feel like all of these pastes are pretty quick to be absorbed by the horse. They're manufactured for that purpose. So getting that much needed salt back into the horse. I myself have been exercising quite a bit lately, and I've been taking the BCAA myself. We also stock that for horses, and I have found a lot of great help in muscle soreness in my own self. So that is something I'm really recommending lately since I've been using it myself and see a big difference. I think back when I competed, that wasn't so readily available. But yeah, you're right. There are just a ton of products out there, and not every product works the same on every horse, of course, just like everything else. So you have to find your mixture. You see them at the vet checks over there. Sometimes they look like chemists, put in all the calcium and all the things. So you just sort of have to experiment a little bit and find out what works well for your horse, and how hot is it that day, and what are you doing that particular day, even at home. So, and I know, Karen, you use the Redmond products. So
Yes, I do. Yeah. And the horses love it. And I've even been using some of their other, human salt stuff.
Electrolytes.
But we love the regular Redmond salt that you have. That stuff's just fantastic.
Yep,
we love that. And the horses, the horses love the red salt, and they get the Daily Gold every day. I think that helps a lot with their gut health and stuff like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that Daily Gold is good for stress and helps curb ulcers, and that's in a 5-pound bag, or almost 5-pound bag. So quite a bit there, good bang for your buck. And of course, the Redmond rock, we have rocks on a rope. We have the great big rock. I used to chop my big rock up and put it in their dish, and they would just have to push it around every morning when they ate and at night. So I called it pushing a rock. But yeah, lots of great products on there, and a fun one too, kind of new, Funky Unicorn. They have some fun flavors, and they also have a gastric chew now, which has been pretty popular, and I've had really good feedback on that for gastric support. So yeah, an antacid chew. So lots of good things on there.
Okay, and how would somebody get in touch with you?
They can visit us at thedistancedepot.com or give us a call toll free, 866-863-2349.
Thanks so much, Kristen. Our next guest this morning is Alanna Frank, who is here representing the Arabian Horse Association. Good morning, Alanna. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
We're good. So what can you tell us about the Arabian Horse Association?
Well, it is. So I come from the endurance side of things. And the Arabian horse, of course, is the premier horse for endurance. They're just made for it. The saying goes, what? There's nothing faster than a quarter horse in a quarter mile, and nothing faster than a thoroughbred in 2 miles, and nothing faster than an Arab at 50. So the Arabian Horse Association is very much supportive of the endurance community, because they know this is what the horse is bred for. This is where the horse comes from, is from endurance and long distance. So that's the beautiful thing about that. Now, the endurance community is significantly smaller than the show world, but the Arabian Horse Association continues to support endurance because that's the foundation of the breed. So we host a distance horse national championship every year. We move it around the country so that each part of the country gets to be involved and not have to drive all the way across the country. So, and this year it's in New Centerville, Idaho, the end of August, starting August 28th for Vet In on the Thursday. The Friday, August 29th, is the 50-mile national championship. The Saturday is the competitive trail, and the Sunday is the 100-mile national championship. And each one of those days, there's also open rides. So anybody can come and ride those rides. At the same time, there'll be the championship ride, but any horse, any breed, any person can come and ride as an open rider. So we also are hosting, along with us, are several different breeds also. That's why we call it the Distance Horse National Championship, because it's the Arabian Horse Association, the Appaloosa Club, the Pasofino, the Performance Shagya, the American Morgan Horse, the Alcaltecchi, and the American Saddlebred are also hosting their national championships along with us. So it's a really big event and just a phenomenal time. So there's also limited distance rides going on also all 3 days. And we have something we call the limited distance challenge, where if you ride the same horse for those 3 days and you meet every day your horse is judged like as a best condition, and whoever's horse performs the best and has the best scores over those 3 days is awarded the winner of the limited distance challenge. So,
are there any qualifications to enter the championship ride part of it?
Yes, the championship for the Arabian horse. For the competitive trail, you have to have at least 100 lifetime miles. And that's one of the qualifications. The way our qualifications work for endurance is it's not that year, it's lifetime, because an endurance horse, is a lifetime horse. We don't just compete them for 1 year. So it's for the competitive trail, it's 100 lifetime miles, and 50 of those need to be as a recognized, approved competitive trail event. And the distances of each of those rides needs to be at least 25 miles. The 50-mile championship needs to have 200 lifetime miles, and all of those miles need to be at 50 miles at least in a 50-mile ride. And the 100-mile national championship requires 300 lifetime miles, and 100 of those miles must have been done consecutively, either a 1-day 100 or 2 50-mile rides back to back, like in 2 days, Saturday, Sunday thing, and you're doing 50 miles both days.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. Now, each of the other breeds have their sets of qualifications. And so if anybody has one of those other breeds that wants to compete, maybe check in with their qualification requirements. So since there's so many, it's a lot to go through.
Yes. So what, in your opinion, makes Arabians so well suited for endurance riding?
They are just maybe I would say a leaner built horse. They have the ability to just release the heat I can't think of the right word to say right now,
Okay.
but they get rid of the heat faster, I think, than the larger breed horses. A more muscled, bigger horse like that, they hold that heat in so much more. And then cardiovascularly, the Arabian horse is just so much more suited to that. They're not so big and bulky. They don't carry as much bulk to hold the heat in, I think, in my personal opinion.
Right. And they have great recoveries
Yeah.
and they
Yes.
love it so much.
Yes, that's the other thing. You're absolutely right. An Arabian horse, you take them out on a little short trail ride, and they're just like, why? What's the point of this? It's over too soon, and we didn't go fast enough.
Or far enough. And they take care of
Yes,
themselves. They learn to take care of you. And we're
yes.
seeing that there's a lot of longevity with these horses, that they go and go and go.
Yes. Well, I mean, they compete well into their 20s and are competing. They're not just plodding down the trail at 23, 24. They're competing, and they're just eating the trail up. An Arabian stands in the pasture when you load another horse to take him to the ride, and they're just like, what about me? I'm supposed to go. I'm the ones they want to go down the trail. So they're just phenomenal animals, and they're so intelligent. Our horses, I know horses aren't supposed to see color, but I know that my horse can tell what color trail we're on. You go down and there's, ribbons hanging, and you have all the different colors of ribbons on the trail. And once they kind of get the idea, okay, we're on pink this time. And I promise you, my horse has picked out the pink ribbon and taken that turn as opposed to the others, even when I was wrong. So
I know mine have saved me so many times. Like, they're like, no, I've done this right before and I know where I'm going a lot of times. Yeah,
yes.
they're pretty darn smart.
Yes, we were doing 100-mile ride at Bighorn, and I think we'd done it once or twice before. And we got to the top of the mountain, and we were going to be on our way down, and a herd of loose horses just came out of the middle of nowhere and ran right through us. And with all the dust and everything in the air, we couldn't see which way was what. We lost the trail ribbons. We didn't know for sure where we were going. But my husband's horse, he knew. And he's like, I don't care about those other horses. I know this is the way we're going. So other people were sitting there looking, they're trying to find it on their GPS, but nah, Gunner's, my husband's horse, was just on down the trail, and he's just like, come on, follow me.
I know I was on a ride once in a blizzard, and it snowed so much, so heavily. Everything there, you couldn't see the ribbons. Everything was covered in snow, but my horse knew the trail, and he got me over that mountain, and we finished. It was an incredible experience because I just put all my trust in him.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
They're amazing. So is the best way to learn more about Arabians to go to the ArabianHorses.org website? Okay.
Exactly. Yes. And under competitions there's go to the distance riding section. So there's tons of information there.
I'm a lifetime member of AHA.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you'll be coming to Idaho? For the national championship.
Actually, I'm going to consider it for sure. My horse is actually qualified for all the distances, so that would be pretty cool. Yeah. Are you going to go? Oh, good.
Yes, I'll be there. We're planning. It's a long way for us. We're over in Oklahoma, so it's a bit of a haul for the horses. We'll see. So, but yeah, I'll definitely be there. It's always a great event because Arabian Horse Association puts on such a good ride. The awards are always fantastic, and we've just got so many people there to help manage, and it's just there's always food. It's just a really classy event and a lot of fun.
Good. Well, thanks for coming on and telling us about it and talking about Arabian horses with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sentinel Horse Feed knows you share a secret language with your horse. Just one look, you know exactly what your horse is feeling. Just like you understand every little nuance about each other, Sentinel's expert nutritionists understand how the nuances of feed form can help your horse live a healthier life. Sentinel's 100% extruded feed formulas encourage your horse to eat at a healthier pace. These light, airy nuggets help lower the risk of digestive upsets that may lead to serious health concerns, like feed-related choke. Discover the extraordinary nutritional benefits of extruded feed. Visit feedsentinel.com/yourhorse to learn more or find a retailer near you. That's feedsentinel.com/yourhorse.
Our next guest is Tracy Vollman. She is a Midwest region endurance rider with 4,630 miles. She's going to talk to us today about some of the Canadian rides and FEI and about their club information. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you.
So tell us about the Saskatchewan Distance Riding Association and how it ties in with Equestrian Canada and the FEI rides.
So we're the provincial club up here. We only have one. So we fall under the umbrella. Each province has a provincial sport organization. So ours would be the Saskatchewan Horse Federation. And then under that umbrella, we all fall under Equestrian Canada. So we host all the long distance rides in the province, and our rides we sanction with AERC. Some are sanctioned with Equestrian Canada as well. And then we have now just this year started, we are going to host 2 FEI rides in conjunction with our other rides to try and get some of our Canadians qualified for the world stage, any world events, Pan Am's, World Equestrian Championships, World Endurance Championships, whatever comes along that needs a Team Canada.
So what's the similarity or difference between your rules and, say, the AERC rules versus FEI?
So our club follows the AERC rules. We pretty much have the exact same rules. Same with EC, very, very similar, very slight differences. FEI is a little more strict, which in my opinion is good because of course we're all about the welfare of the horse, and more rules to make sure our horses are safe is always good. So with FEI, there's the weight restrictions for the rider that, you have to weigh in at 70 kilos or 75 kilos, I think it is. So there's that, which the other clubs, no weight restrictions. You can't use any kind of crops or whips or anything like that in FEI. The mandatory rest periods in FEI, which kind of can be a nuisance with your ride schedule, but it's in the best interest of your horse to make sure everyone's horse is getting enough rest and we're not hurting our horses. That would probably be the biggest differences in my opinion.
And how much time off do they need between rides that's required?
So if you ride a 25-mile ride, I think it's 5 days. If you ride a 1-star, which used to be 50, but is now 62 technically, I think it's 14 days. A 75-mile or 2-star, I believe, is 21 days. And a 3-star, which is 100 miles, is 33 days.
Hey, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah. It's what we should be doing anyways, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it just depends. There's a lot of differences in how different people ride and what their goals are. But
and it's
typically,
not saying you
right. FEI is more.
You can't condition. I mean, you can go out and do light riding, which is what I would do. I wouldn't give them like completely. I usually would give them, like, if I was doing 100, they're going to get a good solid 2 weeks where they're just out in the pasture being a horse. And then depending how I think they're doing, I may, do a light ride, non-stress, just to get out on trail, walk, trot a little bit. That's it. But you're not allowed to enter any competition, not national level or FEI.
Okay. So what are the rides like in Saskatchewan?
Very, very similar to what they are down south. I spent several winters down south competing, and our rides are run very much the same, just on a much smaller scale. Our terrain is, well, we kind of got everything. Depending what part of the province you go, we can have lots of hills, not huge mountainous hills, but enough that they are a good workout. Or we can have really flat. Where I am, it's fairly flat, but lots of sand, kind of like Florida. Deep sand in spots, 2-track dirt trail. Some people aren't lucky enough to have trails. They have to road ride on the gravel roads. I did that for many, many years when I lived further down south. But yeah, our rides are pretty much run the exact same. The only difference I notice is a lot of the rides down south are on a Friday, Saturday, and our rides are always on a Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. So how would your riders generally progress towards competing in these FEI rides?
Same. We start at, the low level learning like everybody else. And then we have the exact same qualifications to ride FEI as everywhere else in the world. We have to do the novice rides, the couple 25 miles, a couple 50s. I think now there's a new rule in the last few years about a speed restriction on, I'm not sure if it's a 25 or the 50, that you can't ride faster than a certain speed. And it's very reasonable. It's not like they have you dawdling along out there. It's what most of us ride anyways. I don't want to compare us to the UAE, but we don't ride like they ride. The speed they ride a lot because our terrain says we can't. It's just not.
Exactly.
It's just not possible to ride that fast all the time. So the speeds in FEI with the restrictions in the novice qualifications are very reasonable. So I don't even concern myself with that because I know I'm not going to be riding a lot faster or any faster than what the speed restrictions are for my horse's first 25s and 50s anyways. We all want to go slower. We're not coming out of the gate winning the race. So yeah, we just have to do the novice qualifications and work our way up the same as anywhere else in the world. And then EC, of course, is the equivalent to USEF down south, where all our rides have to go through them to be approved by FEI. And yeah, and then it's the 1-star, 2-star, 3-star. And now you have to ride two of each star level to progress to the next level. And of course, if you have failure to qualify or, your horse comes up lame or metabolic, there are penalties for that in FEI that not only do you have the mandatory rest period, you got additional days to make sure your horse recovers.
Good.
Yeah. So, and I think that's good as much as it kind of throws a wrench into people's plans. If you're planning an FEI ride, say one a month, if you're so lucky to be able to do that, and all of a sudden your horse comes up, with a metabolic pull or whatever, well, there goes your next ride out the window because now you have additional days that you won't be able to compete.
Right. Now,
So,
how many riders have you got in Canada that are joining in with aspiring to do these FEI rides and compete internationally?
it's hard to say off the top of my head until it comes down to us having to put your name down and nominate to be on Team Canada. There's lots of people that talk about it and say, yeah, I'm interested, but Right now, I would say we just have a handful. There's, maybe a dozen riders that are vying for 5 spots on a team. Now, because we haven't had an FEI ride in Canada, this is the ride I'm hosting in May here is going to be the first in, I don't know, 6 years or something like that. I don't think there's been one here since 2018. We'll see how many FEI riders come out to ride it when it's here in our own country. I know we've had riders flying, south and around the world and whatnot to get their FEI rides in, which is, of course, an option to do. But we'll see how many actually come out when it's in our own country.
Can riders from the United States, how are things with the border crossings going back and forth with horses?
Well, up until this tariff thing, it was really easy. All you need is a negative Coggins and your health papers from your vet. That's it.
Okay.
And your health papers are good for, now I assume it's the same coming to Canada as it is for us going to the States. Health papers are good for 30 days. Coggins is good for 6 months. And I know you guys have a little bit different restrictions with, state to state and whatnot. But yeah, it's very easy to come up to Canada.
So if somebody was looking for your club or group, where can they find you?
So we are sasklongriders.ca on the internet, or on Facebook, we are just Sask Long Riders. The FEI, we've started a page just for those rides, FEI Endurance in Saskatchewan.
Okay. Well, terrific. Thanks for joining us. It was nice to get to talk to you.
Thanks for having me on.
Got to cover this topic finally. Thank you.
Yeah. All righty. You guys have a good day.
50-pound feed bags, bulky supplement tubs, and gallon fly spray refills, all no problem. At Chewy, every order over $49 ships free, so you can stock up on all of your horse's favorites without the heavy lifting. Order online or on the app and let Chewy deliver everything they need and everything you need, fast and free, right to your barn, so you can spend more time with your horses. Start shopping today at chewy.com/equine. That was so much fun.
I know it. It's always fun to talk to riders and talk about horses and all this stuff, endurance.
Yeah, I would love to chat more in future episodes about the differences in national and FEI. And don't answer the question. I want to be surprised. Is there something that's not even national? Is there one step below that as far as, the goings on in endurance? Because I know in the English disciplines, you have local shows and regional shows and national shows and international shows. There's so many different levels, and what they offer any given competitor varies quite a bit. So I would love to keep talking about that. That's very interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Well, we are having intro rides at a lot of rides. They're not a sanctioned event with AARC. It's just for somebody to go and learn a little bit, get their toe in. They can do 5 miles. Like at this last ride, there was I think you could do a 5, a 10, or a 15.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
That's great for somebody who literally wants to tip their toe in.
Exactly. And then they can go and ride for an hour or two and then come back and hang out and volunteer or just watch and learn and see how the ride is run. Most rides can always use the volunteers go around and introduce yourself and say hi to some of the riders, because some of us were busy taking care of our horses and we don't always have time to go around and introduce ourselves to the new people, especially if we're riding the longer distances. I know I get, really involved with taking care of my horse because, that's a full-time job, cleaning up after them and filling their water, keeping their food, walking them around camp.
Yes.
Getting everything together.
Yeah. And in my case, it was babysitting the nut job. So because I couldn't put him in a stall or a pen. I had to just be with him all the time.
Okay.
So for me, that was all consuming with Nigel. So who knows what's going to happen with James? I don't know how he's going to be, but that's really cool. So you have a little of everything. And even if you're not going to ride, to just go to a ride, volunteer, or even just introduce yourself to everybody and just be an observer if volunteering even feels too intimidating. Because if you don't even know how a ride works, because the endurance business is such a unique discipline as to how it all plays out. It's so different than anything else I've ever done. Just to go watch, and when there's a lull in the activity, to ask some questions and stuff.
Pick up on the good stuff.
And pick up on the good stuff. So that's really cool. Well, we'll be back again the second Tuesday of next month for more fun and games about endurance. And for links to today's guests and show notes, you're going to find those at horseradionetwork.com. Just click on the Horses in the Morning button. And Glenn and Jamie will be back again tomorrow with more fun and games. For somebody who wants to find out what Karen Chatton is up to, where can they find you online?
You can just go to Facebook at NV Endurance Rider. There
we go. NV as in Nevada Endurance Rider, and keep up with what Karen is up to. She has the best adventures ever. So we'll see you next month, Karen.
Thank you. Have a good ride, everybody.